Hey everyone, so if you are interested in understanding how to pull a lead list from Reonomy, I hope you guys enjoy it. This is the step-by-step process. Here we go. So Reonomy is basically connected to the online tax records for everything that has to do with commercial properties. This is the dashboard page. This is what you're going to see when you create your new account. I just created a new account for you guys just so you can see everything just from like a brand new version. This search bar you can use like Google. So like if you happen to come across a lead, you can just put the property address right in here, and again, 99% of the time they'll be able to find it. You pull it up. Obviously, you have to make sure that the address is spelled correctly, but this is sort of like your Google, right? You can plug that right in, you're gonna be able to find it. Other than that, realistically, all we really do is that we go right to the advanced search. So that's gonna be the main thing to be focusing on, is that you're just gonna click on the advanced search function, and then it's gonna be bringing you to where all of the filters are. And obviously, if you just see this screen, you're just gonna click on more filters. This is where we're gonna start narrowing down a lead list. What you're gonna wanna be paying attention to is how many properties are being pulled. This is obviously the whole entire country, the entire database of Reonomy. We're not gonna obviously pull a $54 million lead list. You're gonna wanna try to get this lead list down to like 200 to 1,000. That's kind of like the sweet spot. Also, because most people only have about 1,000 leads that they can pull on a monthly basis, which is why we try to pull between 200 and 1,000, or at least this is what we teach for our sales teams when they're pulling their own lead list. So again, you're going to go to the more filter section. If you don't see this, make sure you click on more filters. We're going to start off with property type. So this is asset class, obviously. Asset class and geographic locations are going to be the first places you're going to look. So what I want to do really quickly is kind of play around with both. Let's first try the asset class side, and then I'm going to show you the geographic side. I think they're both incredibly important to note that this is basically the 1-2 punch. The first two steps, 1-2 steps, right? They can be interchangeable when it comes to pulling a lead list. So the first thing you're going to do here is asset class. So asset class, let's just say that we're going to play around with industrial really quickly, right? So you're going to click on industrial. As you can see, there's a ton of different options when it comes to it. I want you to know that it's important to pay attention to this piece of it more than anything, because just like with multifamily, there's a lot of different aspects of it. However, you're not going to probably pull duplexes, right? You're going to pull multifamily. When it comes to industrial, you want to be really specific. Like you're going to click, like, as an example, warehouse is a very common one. Okay. However, there's only 495,000. If you could just click industrial, that's 1.3 million. We can start with the bigger number first. And we're going to start narrowing it down. So you can start by just clicking the top part. Again, this is for every single specific type of asset class. We're just going to do warehouses. Next thing you're going to want to do is geographics, right? Like that was the next thing we talked about. So if we just did New Jersey, right? Let's just say we did all of New Jersey by state. Now, I don't recommend this. I'm just trying to show you as an example. There are 663 warehouse properties in the state of New Jersey. Now, that's if we just did warehouse, because there's a lot of properties that are not just under that category, which is why this is super freaking skewed. This is why I'm trying to tell you, like, look, general industrial, because a lot of properties are actually tagged under general industrial. This is my point, right? So you just have to be careful of what you're pulling. In this instance, we're doing general industrial in the state of New Jersey. We have 20,000. Again, look, our goal here is 200 to 1,000. We're going to have to start breaking it down by other pieces of criteria. Another piece that I think is really important is you go under sales and you do not within the last 10 years. The reason why I do this is because if someone bought a property within the last, I don't know, 5-10 years, right? They're probably not going to want to sell it again. You're also going to see something under here, which I wanted to bring up, which is the likely to sell properties. This is an interesting algorithm that Reonomy has done. This is not 100% accurate. Is it fairly accurate? Sure. I just don't want you to always have to just come over here and just click the likely to sell properties and prospect the list and be like, oh, this is going to be the hottest list ever. It's not like that. Now, again, look, we went from 20,000 to 15,000. Okay, let's just say we go down to the past 10 years. Has not sold in the last 10 years. We're down to 11,778. Let's start playing around with the rest of it. So when you want to go to owner, here's another option, right? So you can go to owner, and in the owner category, you're going to be making sure that you want to say includes phone number, okay? Because if they don't have a phone number, there's no way to get a hold of them, right? So we went from 11 now down to 8. Another one you could do is owner type. You can do person, right? So that's not in an LLC. You know, again, if you wanted to also narrow it down by size of property, we've realized that it's very tough to do by square footage, because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to call, like, you know, larger properties, and this is how we talk about increasing your sales prices. However, we found that if you do by units or by the building area, we've also found that like a lot of buildings don't have that on record. So what we've realized is that it's probably not smart to do it that way. What we found better success with is going underneath the tax amount and just doing, like in New Jersey, it's very, very high. So you can just do by like 25,000. 25,000 is probably at a minimum like $2 million kind of property, right? So now we're down to 1,886. Now, again, I want to play with around a couple other things. Like, look, maturity date. I want you to know, like, a lot of people have been talking about this as being like the new, another gold rush as an example. as something you might want to be paying attention to. So the maturity date in this example is like, okay, well, if hypothetically the loan is due within the next 12 months, there's only 11 properties. Like, this is why I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm telling you right now, and I just did a video with Rafael Calazo. If you don't know who he is, check him out. We were talking about how, like, the maturity date stuff, I just don't think it's going to be, what everybody thinks it is. However, if you want to play around with the maturity date stuff, you can play around here. This is loans that are coming due within the next 12 months. You can do loans that are due in the next 2 years. Again, we're only playing with 30 properties. I mean, like, this is a very specific list, as you can see, as you continue to layer. I'm just going to take that off because I don't really want to play around with it as an example here. You can also see where it's like, say, let's say mortgage origination, you can say not within. They did not get a new loan within the last 5 to 7 years. Very important piece here, which means they did not refinance it during the most recent cycle, right, where interest rates were like 2% or so. This is also some interesting things. You can play around the distress side, which is like things that are going through foreclosure, lis pendens. Notice of default means they just made some, they have not made a payment within X period of time. Typically this means like they've been, I think they're late on 90 days of payments, or right, like 30 to 90 days worth of payments. So not a super important category to play around with. Sort of like the Zillow one. Like if you go on Zillow for single family houses, you'll see like there's properties in pre-foreclosure or something like that. That's the same exact kind of thing. In regards to anything else, so like things, other layers that you can start playing around with, like we play in the opportunity zone a lot. So this is great for investors who are looking to save money on taxes for long-term purposes. Opportunity zones are great options. Let's just say we want to play with this. We want to only play with properties that are built up into the year 2000. So that could be an option, a really good option as well. This way you're not calling brand new construction properties. So again, look, now we're down to 885 properties. These are all properties that are under the general industrial category, built up into the year 2000. They have not had a new mortgage within the last 5 to 7 years. It is owned by a person, not an LLC. They've pulled a phone number through Reonomy. Property has not been sold within the last 10 years. So that means that person's owned it for at least 10 years. Has a minimum tax amount of $25,000, obviously in the state of New Jersey. Now, this is the entire state. Because like what I would do is I would probably get rid of like the mortgage origination piece of that. You can even start getting rid of things like, let's just say we did the tax amount. We're just going to call most of the general industrial. We're still at 1,982. However, maybe you want to be calling by county, right? So you go under county, Monmouth, I grew up in Monmouth County. There you go. So now down to 101 properties. This is also where, like, when it comes to owner, I'm going to take that off because that's not going to matter. You can get rid of that. You can call company, or you can call the owner or the person. It really doesn't matter. This is just going to kind of give you an idea here, because at the same time, like we talked about, we want to be in the somewhere between 200 and the 1,000 number, which is why, like, I tell people, like, explore a little bit more of an outside of a geographic location. Just by doing your current county, you're not going to have a lot of properties to prospect. Like, think about how fast can you call on a Reonomy software. Let's say we got off the general industrial, and let's just say that now we're going to play retail stores, right? This is why I say you have to go outside your location, because, like, think about it. We have 1,390 properties in Monmouth County that are retail. That being said, you're going to get through this in a few weeks. Like, you can't be in this business for years only playing around with the same 1,390 properties. It's just not going to make any sense, which is why I've recommended doing multiple different asset classes here. Multifamily for one county, you're only playing in 3,348 properties in totality, and a lot of those have traded in the last 10 years, right? 1,189 properties multifamily wise. It's just hard to play in that filter, right? So, like, this is why I only play by, this is why I call by state. If for whatever reason, you're like, oh, well, and I'm not going to drive 6 hours for a property, I don't blame you, but I'm also selling properties remotely all over the country. So I'm trying to show you that, like, it is possible. It is possible where, like, you don't actually have to go visit every single property. Also because, we try to structure deals differently. There's obviously a lot of different pieces when it comes to the pulling of the property. So, like, I'm just real quickly going to go back to the general industrial property type. Now that you have this list, 889 properties, what you're going to do now is you're going to click export. So once you click export, right, you're going to want to make sure you get owner contact information. You want to check that box, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to get all the phone numbers for that person. So what's going to happen here is that now you're going to be able to contact them. You'll click export, and then you're going to get a list of properties in an Excel spreadsheet. What's important to note is you're going to want to make sure that you explain exactly what's in here. So, right, so you're going to do statewide industrial, and you're going to do statewide industrial 50K tax plus, and then you can do a date, right? So it would be 10, I think I'm doing this on the 19th of October. And then this way, like, oh, okay, if I want to call statewide industrial, this is exactly what it is. And this way you can pull that, right? So you're going to pull owner and you're just going to click export. That's it. You can upgrade this account and you're going to be able to get more exports. So if you ever feel like you're behind, I mean, we pay for, thousands and a lot of exports. Okay. So this way we don't have that issue. Just keep in mind that that can be a thing. And especially when you have more and more salespeople just starting out, just know, like, listen, 1,000 leads, you can work through that list over and over and over again. And what you do is that you just delete the phone numbers out of Mojo. So you can just put them into your CRM system. So just keep in mind that, like, you can continue to call the same list until you get everyone on the phone. So the last thing I wanted to talk about with Reonomy was something where you actually have the ability to clean lists through Reonomy. Really cool option here. You have something called data upload. With data upload, you can actually upload a spreadsheet into Reonomy. So like you can pull a list from just about anywhere. Like you can buy a list or pull a list from any type of source where you have an Excel spreadsheet. You can upload it in here and it will actually sort by and try to find the properties that you've pulled. And then what you can do there is that then you can basically cross-reference different things. So what we've done in the past is that you can call a list of property pre-foreclosure lists or out-of-state owners or anything else that you can pay for through other softwares, where you can basically take that list and then upload it into Reonomy. So just want to let you know that you can do that and you can play around with it. You can label them and be like, oh, okay, like these are certain things. You can label them whatever you need. I love Reonomy. I think it's a fantastic software. Keep playing around with it. I'm a huge fan of this software. So if you do not have it, I definitely would recommend it. We're actually launching a program where it's actually included in our coaching program. It's something that we just try to allow for all of our coaching students because I know it's so freaking valuable to have this, where you can pull nearly unlimited properties over a long enough period of time. So listen, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed this software. I want you guys to be able to get the most out of using this software. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you put in the comment section down below. We will answer every single question. If you're not following the channel, make sure you subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Take care.